Good morning, viewers, and welcome to the now streaming show beaming from the Advent Cable Network Nigeria Television, where we challenge perspective and break stereotype just to bring you stories anchored on integrity, guided by truth, and viewed through the lens of faith. Today we will be delving into the world of sports to bring you all the very interesting happenings across. We are not just dissecting the actions on the pitch, we would be tackling some of the biggest headlines. I tell you, the football world is still bustling after the controversial NFF issue as regards the FIFA fund mismanagement scandal and also the refereeing betting scandal hitting the Turkish Football League. We would be seeking insight to these issues this morning alongside some developing and trending story. I am Godwin Ojiri, your anchor for today's show, but I'm not alone in the studio. Joining me to look into all of these trending stories, all of the sports stories, and all what we would be dissecting this morning is Mr. Raphael Rafiki Ojaokomo. He is a social and a sports commentator. And also joining us virtually from Delta State, we have our comrade Abraham Soko, who is a political and sports analyst. And then joining us later on the show virtually from the Federal Capital Territory is Dr. Idesiri Izu, who is a sports analyst. Also, he would be joining us much later in the show. Mr. Raphael, you are welcome to Now Streaming.
Thank you for having me here once again.
All right. And Comrade Soko, I believe you can hear me. Good morning and welcome to the show.
Yeah, good morning, Mr. Godwin. Thanks for having me this morning.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us this morning all the way from Delta State. Viewers, we want to urge you to remember that you can be part of this show by calling in the number showing on your screen, and also by sending your comments via our various social media platforms. But right about now, we are delving into the world of sports. You see, I am very excited because I tell you, this is that one segment that gets everyone not looking at their back, but rather looking forward to sharing banters and all of those exciteful and exciting time in the world of sport. I promise that I'm not going to drag some persons even at the back room there. But I believe me, a whole lot of persons needs to be dragged in the show this morning. But we will leave that to our analysts to do and share these banters within themselves. Now, to begin the show, or this segment of the show, we would be looking at the Sponge Sport Extra newspaper that came in this morning. And leading on the front page, we have standing tall. Onuachu leads. Osimhen others in Europe's scoring charts. This can be seen on page 6. And then just above the Punch Sport Extra masthead there, we have Osimhen wants Lookman at Gala. Still on page 6, we have Coyote Sparks Eagles call up. And then on page 6 again, we have 2026 World Cup Eagles to open playoff camp come November 9. Wow. And then just by the side of it there, we have Ekong draw inspiration from Saudi. And this can be seen on page 7 of the Punch Sport Extra there. And then we have on page 4, United prepared January move for €60 million Galacha. And then on page 5, we have Arsenal legend warns Odegaard. And then also on page 8, we have Madrid star threatening Alonso as Vini apologizes. And then on page 3, we have Pedri out with Mozu Thier. And then from the world of basketball, we have Amayo Olisemeka rejoins Hopers. That can be seen on page 2. And then on page 7, we have AFCON Trophy Tour begins in Lagos. Viewers, that is it from the front page of the Sports Punch Extra newspaper. And very quickly, with the help of our analysts right in the studio and those joining us virtually, we will be digging deep, I tell you, on all of those issues within the world of sports. So please stay tuned and don't go away. Right in the studio, like I earlier introduced, is Rafael Rafiki Ojakomo. He would be helping us to understand some of this pertinent issue. And Mr. Raf, I'm coming to you. The first one is what I would describe as the big elephant in the room, and that is the FIFA Go project and the controversy that have shredded the likes of NFF so far. So help our viewers to make, how do I put it now, to make sense of this whole issue.
First things first, I think this whole thing came from a particular young man on social media who, will I say, did an X-ray on, FIFA Go project has to do with money that is pumped into nations to be able to develop their football in terms of infrastructure and the likes. This guy did I wish we had the video, looked through the books, I would want to say, look at other countries that have been given the same amount of money over time from 2015 till date, to look at what they've done with such money. And we noticed that we couldn't even balance it with what's it called, a country like Kenya. That's why we have on the screen, I think it was on the screen some few seconds ago, 2 projects. There you can see Benin Kebi. That's supposed to be a stadium that is being built with the same money that Kenya is using to build theirs. Today we all shout what's happening in Morocco, that Morocco is doing well, under 17, both male and female, under 20, even in their ladies. We defeated them in the finals just by some sheer determination by the girls. Morocco is the first African team to get into the semi-finals of the World Cup. They qualified for this next World Cup without conceding a goal, winning all their games. They've been hosting tournaments back to back, and they are planning on hosting the 2030 World Cup, if I'm not mistaken. This is because whatever fund that has been released into these countries have been used judiciously to make sure their football grow, and we can all see results. Same happened with Cape Verde. Cape Verde, a country of about 500,000 thereabouts, if not even less, are going to be playing in the World Cup. We are going to be going through the eye of the needle just to get to that World Cup. As I speak to you, Nigeria under 17 team has not played in the World Cup for 2 years. Nigeria under 17 female team was just embarrassed from the World Cup. The under 20 team embarrassed from the World Cup. What's it called again? The only team that is allowing us not press calculator is the Super Falcons. Those are the only people that don't allow us press calculator. We watch them play and they give us joy. Now, why am I saying all these things? It has gotten to the point where the lawmakers are inviting NFF to come and say, explain what you have done with the money that has been given to you over time. And I hope there will not be they won't stage another workout. Because when something happens and nothing is done, somebody else will try it. Do you understand me? Now we've gotten to the point where the government is inviting the NFF, which is also now a very dicey situation. Why did I say so? Because in FIFA rule, government must not interfere when it comes to footballing matters and the federation as a whole. Because when that happens, the country is suspended for any footballing matters, both in Africa and the world as a whole. So now, in doing that, even the lawmakers have to be very careful. If I were to look at it from a critical point of view, FIFA should be the one questioning these people on as to what they are doing with the money that they've been given. Look at this stadium. What if people are playing football one day and then bandits just come from nowhere, or headsmen just come from nowhere and carry all the old players? Somebody will look at it and say, this is a very nice pitch to play. Let the Super Eagles go and play. Even me as a Super Eagles player, I will feign injury not to appear in this place. It makes no sense, Godwin. It makes no sense at all that you are giving the same kind of money Comoros is giving, Cape Verde is giving. Cape Verde started, I don't know, if either I like it or not now, the Cape Verde women national team will be playing at the next WAFCON. All this because somebody somewhere thought it wise to use money that has been given to them to develop their football over time. And now we are seeing the dividends of that. Mind you, Rivers United, because all these things cannot be in isolation. Rivers United has qualified for the CAF Champions League. And by qualifying for the CAF Champions League, there is a particular amount of money that is given to Rivers United. But I bet you that Rivers United, who doesn't have a stadium to play in, because their matches are played in Uyo, would not use that money to renovate their stadium so that they can have a home ground to play in. Money will start doing what? Changing hands. So now, lawmakers have to be very careful. The government have to be very careful. We love football in this country. We don't want to be thrown out just because of the mistakes of some people. But how do we put these things together? How do we correct this menace? FIFA needs to come to terms with the fact that they need to start checking on countries who they are investing on to see what they are getting in return.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Raphael Ojalkomo. And I was just rightly informed that Dr. Idesiri Izu is now here with us. Doctor, good morning and welcome to the non-streaming sports special. Hello, Dr. Idesiri, are you there with us? Dr. Izu, can you hear me? Good morning.
Good morning.
All right. Good morning and welcome to the sports segment of the Now Streaming Show.
Thank you. Apologies for joining late for connectivity.
All right. We actually do understand. I would be starting again with you before I go over to Comrade Soko in Delta State. The controversial issue is on the NFF scandal as regards to the use of the released fund by FIFA and the comparison between what is happening in Kenya and what is happening in Benin Kebbi, the stadium, and just as it is clearly shown on the screen. So what is your take on this? Because the likes of Pinnick has come out to clear the air and has dismissed every allegation of financial mismanagement. So let's get your take on this issue.
Okay, thank you very much. Good morning, Nigerians. It's funny how we have to keep saying the same thing over and over again. The truth is that nothing we are saying now is new. So when you say scandal, you should say the NFF practice. Because it's not a scandal anymore. Here is the same here does this. Very soon you're not going to perceive anything again. So it's newcomers that will, I think that it's smelling, it's smelling, because it's not new to you. So it appears that even some things you are missing now. That money was supposed to be for 2 stadiums or 2 centers. One in Kebbi, one I think in Delta. The one people are managing to show now is one in the Kebbi. I people ask us, yes, the one in Delta State. Now, for your comment that this person cleared the air, which air did he clear? Have you ever seen a thief? I'm not saying he's a thief anyway, that will voluntarily admit to you that he's stealing. You don't go and get the best lawyers and say, no, they didn't just steal, they thief or they change the location, and find some semantics. Now, what did Phoenix say that you are saying he cleared the air? The only information he gave there that makes some sense is the exchange rate. That the exchange rate now, because now people are doing 1.2 million times 1,004, 1,005, is that this money was about 400 million naira as at that time.
Yeah.
That's the only thing he has said. And that FIFA's this thing, there are lots of audits, there are lots of that. Which rubbish loss of audit? Audit not doing the blocker collect bribe. So I have to collect bribe. You know how many people and cap officials have been removed from office and were even jailed for bribery and corruption. So which was in making it look like people and
Yes.
cap audits are used to God that they cannot be cheated. Maybe you should stop that story. Now, for the broader picture, which if you recall our last few appearances where we talked about the particular episode we talked about the sponsorship for Nigerian National League, one of these companies put money, get power or so, put money into the league, and they now said they will pay the players directly. They put a clause that within 90 minutes of the game finishing, the players will get their alert. And if you remember, I told you because of past past social history of the federation, and you cannot see that being validated yet again. That let's even assume that what Pinnick is saying is correct, that the money was 400 million plus, which I'm not sure. I've not done the math of the exchange. But let's even assume, as like lawyers say, assuming but not considering, the money was 400 million. If I give you Mr. Ralph and the moderator, I say, okay, take 400 million and build your house, a house for yourself, for you and your family. Now, in the process of building the house, the 400 million finished. Are you saying you leave that your house uncompleted simply because the 400 million finished? When you have multiple streams of income from other places, for example, you have government budgets, you have partners funding, you have appearance at different international tournaments, you have kit sponsors. So do you know that if you go to the NFS credits, for them to come to the public and say, see, people give us 1.1 million for 2 stadiums. So in the process, like you all know, inflation happened and the money was 400 million, and we couldn't get us a proper training kit from our own income, from qualification for Nations Cup, qualification for this one, the friendly matches that we played, sponsorship and the rest. We are able to run things and see we have completed this. When we get that credit, the NFF or FIFA. Now the house is uncompleted. We are not using it to build, to play, to train. Nobody, of course, it's uncompleted. So nobody is training them. Who is suffering it? Is it FIFA? So when you say you try to clear the air, I know you are a journalist, you're trying to put it in mind. You don't clear the air. In fact, just that we're in a country where almost nothing works. We have some reps who should be inviting for probe immediately. Their committee chairman or somebody made a post trying to justify on Twitter aware. I don't know if you saw that because these things are for specific purpose. You know how it's the president is now. You have to give an explanation on his behalf.
You see what I was saying, no?
So the truth is, until we are ready, like I gave it very big analogy. If I give you 400 million to build your house, you have salary, you have debt that was 40 bed, that's another stream of income. You have other things for your family. And then they said the 400 million I gave you, go finish.
All right, it seems as though we are having a whole lot of network glitches there. Comrade Soko, I believe you are still there with us. I want to bring you into this conversation. Just within the week when these issues were coming up, I listened to a one-on-one interview granted by the present NFF president with an AIT correspondent, and one thing he said that, or one thing I picked out from that interview was him saying that if it were FIFA that was calling for an audit, he would have been bothered. The fact that it is not FIFA calling for an audit, it seems as though there is nothing to explain, because what the money was initially used for, they have used it. And he also claimed that this same FIFA came for inauguration of some of these grassroots projects. So it's all dicey. Can you help make sense of this? What is your take of this issue also?
Thank you very, very much. For this whole debacle, unfortunately, for this particular case, I want to treat it in isolation. I'm going to be on the side of NFF for this.
Okay.
The reason why we are getting these frustrations by Nigerians is because of our lack of infrastructures, the fact that our football is declining. This goes to show that inherently there's lots of corruption going in our sports federation. We also saw the whole kit issue in the just concluded Tokyo Games, where the kits that was provided to our athletes were substandard. We also saw the uproar when you compare it to the kits other nations got. It was a show of shame, and this was a sports federation that got almost 100 billion in the 2025 budget. This is a major event. What did you do with these monies? The reason why I want to be on the side of the NFF, despite their corruption, despite their mismanagement in this particular case, is because of the fact that most of the informations that are coming out in this particular incident, I think that it's misinformation, to say the least. Now, the stadium you showed in the picture story, and it has been trending in social media, was the Benin KB project, and a project in, on the screen now, and a project in Kenya. If you look at that project in Kenya, if you do an investigation, that project is the Talanta Sports City complex in Kenya. And the cost of building that project was $345 million. And FIFA had nothing to do with this particular project. This particular project was done by the government of Kenya. So it's like you are comparing Abuja Stadium to this Benin Kebbi project. And I believe that comparison is inherently flawed. Another point that I would want to say now is that I believe that FIFA should be the one calling for this probe. So I agree with the NFF administration and the NFF leader. They should be the one calling for this probe, because I believe that if monies are dispersed, there should be a design for this project. You understand? If FIFA has brought their design out and say, okay, this is what we give money for, and this is what we are getting, then this whole uproar would have been justified. So I don't know who is to say that this is not the design that FIFA asked for. If you go to FIFA's page, they even use this particular Benin KB Stadium as their wallpaper in their social media platforms, and they have not complained. So, as I have said, I understand the reason for this uproar. I understand the reason for this aggression towards NFF. I even have my own aggression towards the NFF, because I believe that the grants, if we are saying that $25 million have gone into NFF, into sports infrastructures in Nigeria, I don't believe that our Nigeria sports is reflective of that $25 million. But in this particular case, I believe that it is just an unnecessary uproar. And in terms of this particular sports stadium that we are being that is being spoken about. Thank you very much, Mr. Godwin.
All right, thank you, Comrade Soko, for that clarity and insightful analysis that you have given. Dr. Izu, we lost you at a point due to network glitch. I understand that you are back. Would you want to continue in your line of thought, adding to what Comrade Soko just said?
Yes, thank you. Please confirm you can hear me now.
Yes, I can. Please go ahead.
Thank you. And I'm happy that the three of us on the panel don't all agree. It makes for a rich discussion. Let me speak to Dr. Comrade Soko. So if you notice when I was talking, at no point did I compare with Kenya. Maybe he wasn't hearing me too well. So at no point did I compare Kenya. I was talking strictly on the facts of the matter, which nobody has, refuted. Number one, the money for the FIFA project should have been for two stadia, one in Kebbi, one in Delta. The one in Delta, thank God Toko is in Delta, maybe he can help us with it. So it's not a matter of, I'm not comparing, nothing concerning with the Kenya own, because the construction workers always tell you no two projects are the same, the terrains are not the same. Maybe Nigerian soil is wet, Kenya own is dry. You know what happened that time when they were asking somebody for cost per kilometer and they were doing grammar. So I'm not going into the issue of comparison. I'm only making a very valid point, which I said earlier. That's Comrade Soko is, if I give you 400 million, say buy this car to take you and your family, then instead of buying the car, you buy the body of the car without the engine, and you say, now the year the 400 million I give you, who will suffer for it? Is it not you? Now, who is that uncompleted stadium benefiting? Is it we or FIFA? That FIFA used it as their profile picture or whatever, it's immaterial. What is material at this point, which I am stressing, is the fact that number one, NFF at no point came out to say this happened. In my place, we have a parable that if you are roasting yam for a blind man, you blow whistle. As they roast yam for the blind man, you blow whistle so that you know why? So that he doesn't think your yam is in his mouth. Because you cannot put hot yam in your mouth and be blowing whistle. Yes, yeah. So they have a trust deficit. Number one. So we should not be scavenging for information 5-6 years after the fact. The NSF is a public institution. All Nigerians, that stage by stage updates. If they give all this information and Comrade said now on their own, now everyone will join the different NSF. But they don't have that. Like I said, what will it benefit or what will it cost the NFF? Do you know how much Nigeria made from reaching the final of CAF African Nations Cup just at the last edition? The people got to the final, they gave us 2,500. Here is that money. When have you ever accounted for those money? When you play for CAF Nations Cup and World Cup qualifiers, FIFA funds the country. CAF funds them. Where are those monies? What do they use them for? Because those monies do not pass through the budget. So most times, even the National Assembly does not have oversight over them. So what I'm trying to say is, I'm not in the business of comparing what we build versus what Kenya built. I'm only saying it is in your best interest to augment, because what FIFA gave is to support. FIFA will not give money to build the stadium, of course, now. I think your government. But if somebody gives you 400 million, and like Comrade said, you needed $300 million, like one Kenya built. You needed 300 million to build that kind of stadium. FIFA already gave you 100 million. Obviously, 200 remains. Before they raise money from Dangote, raise money from, and then get money from the different districts, they don't get the money. It's an annoyance. It's an annoyance. So I'm not in the business of comparing whether that project was from the one they showed was from Kenya or was from FIFA money. But look at other people that had, like Ojakomo said, look at Morocco, look at Comoros, how they utilize their own funded projects. Don't forget we had this discussion too when there was this gold project that is going to build hostel. And we had the same discussion over there that where is the transparency? Who is carrying out this project? What is the sustainability? See where we are now. Ahmadou has left office. It is still uncompleted. NFF will still holding election. It is still uncompleted. By the time you want to complete this project now, we should have finished since 2-3 years ago when dollar was 400 naira according to Ahmadou. I'll be 200 naira according to Ahmadou. But like now 1415. So now you're going to need more money that power will not give you again for the giving their own. Which the government does not have available. Which NFF also does not have available. So it has become an iron condemn, an abandoned project. So that's why I kept asking, whose interest does this uncompleted project serve? Forget about comparison with Kenya or what they do. Our own is, why is this project not completed? Because NFF has virtually all the resources. Don't forget that apart from Uyo Stadium that FIFA approved, let me take the discussion a bit wider. Nigeria does not have another FIFA approved stadium in Nigeria. Our Abuja Stadium, Iron Condemned, now is for crusade and deliverance. Our Lagos Stadium, Iron Condemned, is now for just like, it's practically a museum, for reminder of our past glory. Not again. People like Comrade said, Rivers United are playing their own home matches at Uyo. Now, there is the danger of overuse. So if everybody overuses Uyo and it's flow, what will happen? We will now become like Sierra Leone that goes to Liberia to play their home matches. Not by then we'll be going to Ghana to play our home matches. So if we are saying, okay, if I gave you 400 million, Comrade is defending them that misinformation, we agree. what did you do with the other ones, the other income? Apart from this FIFA project in Kebbi, why have the NFF not at least rehabilitated any of the stadium from the money they've been getting from international appearances? So that's my issue. Don't forget, let me go remind you, when Togo had an issue in One Nations Cup when they went by rules and they were attacked, and CAF suspended Togo. I don't remember the year. I'm sorry, apologies.
It was in Angola.
There was an incident. It was in Angola. Thank you. And they went by road. And CAF came out to say you can't go by road because even your flight ticket back, we paid for it.
Yes.
So why would you collect money for flight tickets
and enter road?
And that was why they suspended Togo from 2 consecutive Nations Cup. Not like they would have qualified anyway before. So for all these international tournaments, CAF and FIFA pay your bills. Your own is just to show up.
Show up.
So what was the NFF use their money for? And if you go for those tournaments, whether you lose or win, you are guaranteed certain income. So even if you come up for group like Nigeria or second round, you have guaranteed income in dollars.
Straight up.
So where are they turning those dollars into? That's my question for those who are defending them on this one or this. So what I'm saying is not particular, just to be clear, at the risk of being I'm not in the business of comparing the cost of building a Kenya stadium or the cost of being commode. I'm only in the business of common sense. If somebody gave you $120 million for a project, and in executing the project, you found that it is not enough, it is not out of place. So use your own resources to augment to complete it. After it is your people itself and not people or cars. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Izu. And now we would come back to the studio where Raphael is. Raphael, in 60 seconds, so we wrap up on this issue.
Let me try my best with this. I like what Dr. Izu just said.
Okay.
As at 1999, when Nigeria hosted the Under-20 World Cup, we had a FIFA standard stadium in Lagos, Kaduna, Bauchi, Kano, Enugu, Rivers. I can't remember. There were 8 stadia. I can't remember the other 2 that hosted this tournament. Then there was not even Uyo Stadium. There was no Abuja Stadium. But today, the only stadium we speak of is the one in Uyo. And then maybe you want to go a bit, maybe we'll push it towards Abeokuta, the one that the Falcons just finished playing. Do you understand me? It's not enough to come and say you're on their side. What have they done if you're on that side is what we want to hear. Because like Dr. Izu said, for every tournament, which is true, for every tournament you qualify for, there's a lot of money coming into your coffers. And for every stage of the tournament you go, the money increases. Do you even know that this playoff what Nigeria is going to play? Per adventure, Nigeria qualifies and goes to the Intercontinental Playoff and qualifies for the World Cup. What Nigeria would make would be almost times 2. I stand to be corrected. More than what the countries that went through the group stage got. Oh. I'm telling you, what the those in the group stage got should be around 8,000, there about 9,000. Nigeria will be getting close to 15, there about. Somebody was even questioning why will you give them more for going through a longer route and what have you. So this money comes, but what do you do with it? I like where he drew that is comparison from the Togo national team. When you qualify for a tournament, your flight ticket is sure. Yours is just to show up, and then they started traveling by road and they were attacked by some hoodlums. I think a player died or so, if I'm not mistaken. We need to start checking these things. That's why our girls at the last World Cup they went for, they cried out. Is it the World Cup or the Olympic? They cried out that our monies don't get to us. That was when one of the FIFA representatives now said, okay, we will now begin to pay this money directly to the players. It is because we all know that these things, we know that this corruption has eaten so deep that even money that they gave you to buy sweets, you will use it and go and do something else. And when they now come to you and say, show us the sweets, you'll be show us rapper in the dustbin. Whether now we lick them or not we lick them, there's a rapper there.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Raphael Ojakomo. Comrade Soko, I believe you would want to respond to this. How do I put it now? This argument from both ends. Let's see what your closing thought is while we wrap up on this particular issue.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Godwin. So first off, I want to address Dr. Izu. I never said that he compared. You know, I think he had issues with his network. I was responding directly to Mr. Godwin. because when we came on air, on social media, and even on the studio, we have seen that picture story between the Benin KB Stadium and that of that Talanta Kenya Sports complex.
Yeah.
That's the comparison. That's the picture story flying around. So I was not actually saying that you actually compared. And if you look at this particular picture story, I think that this is not actually the true reflection of what is on ground. And I would want to say that me personally, I have my own aggression with the NFF. I have my own annoyance because I have, as I said earlier, I believe that the sports infrastructure in this country is not even reflective of, let's take away the FIFA grant. What the Nigeria government is giving to our sports federations, I don't believe that it is the sports federations are even utilizing these funds adequately. Let's leave FIFA grants. Now, FIFA grant coming in, I believe that it takes it further. So I've never denied that there is no corruption in our NFF. I believe that the NFF is one of the most corrupt organizations in this country. That is a fact. But when it comes to this Benin KB Stadium, I believe that I'm treating it in isolation without us getting a FIFA design that this is what FIFA wanted and this is what we got. I don't believe that we are in the right position to actually start making conclusions and making conjectures. Do you know that even building a 5,000 capacity mini stadium costs more than $1.2 million? It does, to be honest. So if that stadium is coming from Benin KB Stadium and NFF is saying that it is 400 million that it was at 2020 when they started construction and all that, I believe that that is a fair argument. If Dr. Eju is saying that, okay, in Igborodo that they did not build the stadium in Warri, in other places, we cannot decide to now investigate these issues. For the Benin KB Stadium, I don't believe that NFF has actually done bad. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much, Comrade Soko, for that clarity on so many issues that we have looked into this morning. And I would also be starting this with you, Comrade Soko. And this is on the scandal, but this time around, not for us here in Nigeria, but it happens to be within the Turkish league, where there is a whopping allegation having 300 referee caught betting in the Turkish Football League. The question here is, where does this leave our officiating officials, if I may use that word, for lack of better word, in matches? Because this is football, and the betting world that in a way controls partly football and all other sports are so much more than before engage in all of these matches in a way of getting a better cut, I would say, for lack of better words. Now, the fear that is going or making rounds is this: if what is seen in Turkish is like this, are we not when looking at these issues critically, can't we now say that it is almost the same thing everywhere? Do we use the term of generalizing, or do we just look at this thing in isolation?
Okay, I think in this case, I would want to generalize.
Okay.
Because in the UK, I believe that we also have this problem. It might not be as deep-rooted as it is, but we also have this problem. I will tell you why. When you see teams, football clubs, being sponsored, you see their jerseys being sponsored by these betting companies, I believe that you are sending a very, very
strong
wrong message. And I think I read somewhere that the EPL, which is the English Premier League, taking corrective measures to actually address this. And from 2026, that they are going to ban teams from actually taking these sponsorship deals. So the point I'm trying to make that this is a general problem, and unfortunately, it is more widespread in Turkey, because if you see a referee, over 300 professional referee taking part in active sports betting, having the apps on their phone and betting on football. I think, as a matter of fact, to put it in a very, very short format, it is conflict of interest. And in my own personal opinion, one of the most diabolical officiating usually comes from Turkey Football Federation. And I've in the past asked myself why. In recent times, I watched a match. I think one of our own Super Eagles player played for I think Onuachu. I've forgotten the club now. I think Trabzonspor. So it's called a very, very good goal. And for no reason, that goal was disallowed. I reviewed that situation almost 10 times, and I did not see any infringement. So I was puzzled by that decision. So I'm not caught by surprise with this news, and I believe that the Turkey Football Federation should actually look into it and take proactive steps to curb this betting scandal in their league. Thank you very much, Mr. Godwin.
All right, thank you so much, Comrade Soko, for that analysis on these trending issues. Coming now to you right here in the studio, Mr. Raf. Betting and football, they will tell you, goes hand in hand. But when key officials who officiate in matches are found to be the key stakeholders in this betting scandal, it sends this kind of fear within the football world. So what is your take?
We've always known this right from time. I think they started with the wrong league. The league that they should have gone to first is the English league, and then maybe the Spanish league.
And why is that?
Because some kind of officiating that you see week in, week out. You know, I was watching Arsenal's game yesterday, and then I saw a player kick a ball after the referee had blown his whistle. And then I remember the game Arsenal played against Manchester City, where the referee blew and Trossard just kicked the ball forward, and he got a red card for that. And you know, after that, what's it called? People do that same act without even getting a yellow card. And then the head of the referees in the EPL, Howard Webb, will come to explain to you reason why they did that thing. Then when they now ask him, okay, now this thing is happening now, why are we not getting players carded for this? He goes and looks for another excuse as to why this one is different from this one. When you begin to see betting logos, betting names on jerseys, that's to tell you that that has come to stay. The only way you can take that away from football is by severing it totally off. And then we've gotten to a point where umpires who are supposed to be unbiased are now choosing sides. So when you get to a point where you have a referee who is in the middle of the pitch, you know, sometimes some referees even forget when the team that they're supporting scores, they won't know when they will even celebrate. They won't know when they will even celebrate. It kills the game totally. Because like in Nigerian league, like I always mention, every time in Nigerian league, the home team always win. Kano has been suspended from playing in their Kano Sani Abacha Stadium in Kano. Now they play their home games in Katsina, because they were playing against Shooting Stars and leading 1-0, and from nowhere, what's it called? Shooting Stars equalized, and all their fans entered the stadium, beat everybody beatable and what have you, and they were fined 9.5 million naira and also disbanded from their stadium. So when you want to watch good football, if you want to see good football, is to totally eradicate betting from football totally. And if you see even in the Nigerian setting, how many of our referees do you even see officiating in CAF, even under 17 CAF Nations Cup, or what's it called, the one that we play to qualify for the Nations Cup, say of the WAFU B tournament? You don't find Nigerian referees officiate in those tournaments because they've looked at them and seen that these ones are not worthy to come into this place and come and do. And even at the World Cup,
are they part of those bets?
If you ask me, I would say yes, because there's some officiating that you with your normal eye. Do you know when we were playing football when we were small, our VAR were the big bros in the streets.
Yeah.
You know, when we score goals and everybody's arguing, we just go and meet one uncle by the streets, and whatever the uncle tells you
is final.
Is the final. Those are. But you see this referee, you see the calls they make. Even when Enugu Rangers played against, I think Heartland, I think last season or 2 seasons ago, where from nowhere a penalty just came out. That stadium scattered that day. You begin to wonder if this whole game is about the referees or the players. I came to the stadium to watch players, not getting there and watch referees do all kind of things. This game, people take it serious. People die even while watching it. So I think we need to get to a point where we need to sever this betting away and then also do a mental check on the referees. Psychological test to check whether they are supporting any club. The moment you just align with one club, you take them away.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Raphael Rafiki Ojaokomo, for that analysis. And in a way, I must say, you took me back memory lane as you try to justify this thing. And with that alone, I agree completely with you. Dr. Izu, I believe you are still there with us. I will be bringing you now into the conversation. And although we are short of time, I would need you to do this, if say, for 2 minutes, if you can. We are looking at the Carabao Cup quarter-final draw. And first is we're having Arsenal to take on Crystal Palace. We're having Cardiff to take on Chelsea, Manchester City to take on Brentford, and Newcastle United to take on Fulham. So what is your take? Arsenal this season have almost gone, if I'm not mistaken, unbeaten, right?
Yeah.
Unbeaten so far. Do you think they stand a chance in all of this?
Okay, before I respond, thank you very much. Let me correct misinformation because somebody said yes when he said Arsenal unbeaten. They are not unbeaten.
Jealousy, they worry
they have
you.
actually lost one match and drew one. We know that.
Now jealousy, they worry you. Now jealousy, they worry you.
So, but that said, this tournament is a big hope for Arsenal and Chelsea to win something. So I'm happy with how seriously they are taking it. If you watch the games and you see the lineup, you will see that while some other clubs are rotating, Arsenal, they are fielding their big guns. Yesterday, Saka played, even though they were playing.
But it didn't start now.
Right. Saka played, their big guns, easy play just to intimidate the opponent. Which I don't blame them. You sign your players for them to play as many tournaments as possible. So this tournament is going to be won either by Arsenal, Chelsea, or Man City because there are the three big guns remaining. And then with the way that Man City suffered a scare yesterday when Swansea scored first, I'm sure that in the next leg now, Man City will take it even more seriously, considering how their league form is going and also how the Champions League is going. The question you're not asking was to look at the result, and I want to talk about Liverpool because their coach is behaving.
Doctor, sorry for cutting you. Even while you look at the result, we would also want you to give us a prediction on these matches. Okay.
Played against a very Liverpool team. Very good team. Imagine a Liverpool team that was playing and the rubber team and the winner in central team. The winners of Nigeria actually win them. Because of the caliber of people they play. So I wouldn't, and then Arsenal are also going to be at home. Surprisingly, they've been at home. I don't know how. I don't know if you are thinking. But if you look at almost all the games so far, Arsenal somehow are almost always at home. They are going to Brighton yesterday. They are going to Liverpool. They are going to go to Crystal Palace.
Is God not wonderful?
Maybe like Chelsea are almost always away. They were going to win yesterday. They were away the other day. Now they are away to Cardiff again. So I also believe Chelsea is next time. Man City, Brentford might also be tough because don't forget Brentford beat Man City in the league 3-1 just about a week or two ago. So for that one, Man City will take it seriously for now they are home and they now know it's going to be tough. So those are my predictions. But and if the Newcastle are at home and they are extremely strong at home and they also beat the same Fulham. I think 2-1 just about last week or so in the Premier League. So it's tight, but I'm predicting Arsenal, Chelsea, and Newcastle to progress. So I was making a comment about Liverpool before you got my thoughts.
Yeah.
The court is making a mistake, and that is the same mistake as a weather used to make in those days. When you see Drogba, Lampard playing the Carling Cup as it was then called, or later to be Capital One Cup, you see Arsenal will be playing the junior boys and all them just the boys, and then they were not winning. But then everybody now sees that something. So, and that's the mistake Liverpool have made. Last year, we made the same mistake, and was eliminated in the third round of the FA Cup by, I think, Plymouth or so. So, take this cup seriously, because that's the way you have the best chance. Just about 6 or 7 games, you're in final, you have won. Unlike the finals that scheduled games, unlike the Champions League, about almost 20 games now, in the current format. So, I think Slot made a huge mistake by rotating so heavily, especially when you are home. It's not like you are alone and you do not travel, take flight, or not press there. You are home. Confidence is poor. So what do? You bring your big gun, this is to help you, and you inspire them and get confidence. When you are winning about 60, 70 minutes, and you are winning 2-0 or 3-0, you can remove the big gun. See what Chelsea played yesterday. They are winning 3-0 at the stage. But the kind of winning just 4-3, Komotoko was not breaking well yesterday.
Red card United.
Even if you're going to rotate, you can play half of the first team, half of the second team. Not going to bring the people that use secondary school to play for their wallet to come and play serious tournament. And I think it's something that Celtics should learn going forward. Don't gamble, and I love Mourinho. If you enter sport, Mourinho will play just 11 because you have to win it. You don't have one way to have it serious. Because you don't want it to you don't first before you start talking about whether it's a major topic or a minor. Those are my predictions. Not like I wish Arsenal well.
I know. We know.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Izu there. And we are actually out of time. But I would give my guests just say 10 seconds each right in the studio and Comrade Soko there. 10 seconds, your prediction of this matches while we wrap up.
First, before I give my predictions, Dr. Izu should know that we had a 15-year-old who started the game yesterday, Max Dellman. We had one Andre Onus. Even me, I didn't know him. I found out yesterday. One Neri Ebirichi. In fact, 90% of the guys that started the game yesterday were all in the what's it called, second 11, and they all came in and they proved themselves right. Even Kepa kept a clean sheet. Now goalkeepers are working from home because nothing they enter that post anymore. Anyways. Arsenal against Crystal Palace. I don't know why we're playing Crystal Palace. I don't like that team. They are too rugged. But I see Arsenal getting one over them. Cardiff Chelsea. I don't think Chelsea want to lose this one against Cardiff City. So that I'll be giving this to Chelsea. Manchester City, Brentford. It can go anyway. Newcastle and Fulham. I see Newcastle having one over Fulham.
All right, thank you so much. Comrade Soko, in 10 seconds, your prediction.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Please go ahead.
Okay, so my own prediction is that I see Arsenal actually winning the official against Crystal Palace. Arsenal and Bayern Munich are the most informed teams now. For Chelsea, I see Chelsea winning Cardiff City. Manchester City against Brentford. I think that's a very nice game for Manchester City. So I see Brentford actually clinching that particular feature. Overall, I would just want to comment on what Dr. Ekisu said about this rotation. I don't think that Liverpool actually made a mistake because I believe they knew that they might not actually win that. What it comes to is actually prioritizing. Because to be fair, most of these clubs, they partake in very, 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 very extensive fixtures. You play the Champions League, you play the FA Cup, you play the Premier League, and you ought to challenge for each of these trophies. So what Liverpool just did is creating priority, and I believe that if you don't do that, you see that when you get to the latter stages of the season, you see your players grappling with injury, and the good work you started with at the beginning of this season, you see yourself falling off at that point in time. So clubs have to be careful, and I don't think that Liverpool has done anything wrong with sacrificing this. In light of their recent struggle with form and all that. So that's just what I have to say about that. Thank you very much, Mr. Godwin.
All right, thank you so much, gentlemen, for making this show a reality this morning. But before I draw the curtain, I just want to remind our viewers that the Confederation of African Football CAF has officially announced the 2026 FIFA World Cup African Playoff schedule, and Nigeria is starting off, and it is the target is semi-finals for 13th of November at 1600 GMT time, and this will be between Nigeria and Gabon. And also that same day, we would be having Cameroon to play DR Congo. And then on the 16th of November, we'll have the final where those who would win on both sides will struggle ease out. And the venue would be Prince Mauli Adela Stadium at Rabat. So please, we want to urge you to keep praying for the Super Eagles, and hopefully they would make us proud as a country. Viewers, this is the size of our package on today's show. Remember that you can get more of our programs via our various social media platforms, and also by staying tuned to this station till we'll come your way again with other interesting topic. Same time, same station tomorrow. Do have yourself a great day. I am Godwin Ujiri, and bye.